Hot Topic employees of Reddit, what are your horror stories? My high school GF worked there way back in the day. She said the worst part of the day was having to collect merchandise from the fitting rooms and cleaning the fitting rooms. Apparently, all sorts of nasty women would go in there and try on the panties, not use a liner, and just generally leave them all crusty and bad smelling. They would also leave pads and tampons all over. She said they had to throw away so much merchandise that was left in that condition. I feel like this may be a problem anywhere they sell clothes, but then again Hot Topic may attract a different type of customer, so it might have happened more often. I worked at a Hot Topic in 99200. We used to get a fair amount of strippers that came in, because we were the only place around that sold see-through vinyl bikini tops and 6-inch stack boots and S***T like that. Anyway, our fitting room was basically a hole cut in a wall with a mirror and a thick curtain that had to be pulled close just right. This one day, a stripper came in to try on a bunch of stuff and really didn't even bother with the curtain. Apparently, she was so used to people seeing her naked that it wasn't a big deal for her. Granted, this was a weekday morning and she and her boyfriend / manager / bodyguard or whatever were the only people in the store besides my manager and me. At one point she just stopped using the fitting room altogether and was just using the full-length mirror on the door to the stockroom / office. My manager and I really had no idea what to do, because at this point she's got about $1,500 to $2,000 worth of merchandise that she's probably buying, and this lady is good for both business and morale. She didn't seem to be worried at the prospect of anyone seeing her, and the way our store was set up was really narrow and long, and the display fixtures were tall and bulky. It was very difficult to see into and out of the store unless you were standing in the center aisle. It made loss prevention a nightmare, but really allowed this lady to let her freak flag fly. She finally puts her clothes on at the cash wrapper she's checking out. My manager gave me so much S***T after that, because I was so embarrassed that I couldn't even make eye contact with the customer while I rang her up. That was the largest transaction I ever rang up in my time there, and paid for it with the largest wad of cash I'd ever seen in my life up to that point. **TL. Dr. A stripper came in on a slow day and treated the store like her own private dressing room. I worked for 2 years at my local Hot Topic, and the worst stories both involved the fitting room. Our fitting room used to be a self-service room in the back of the store with a red curtain in front of it. An employee noticed 4 feet in the room and opened it to find 2 people having sex in it and had to clean up the remnants. A second incident came when a smell wafted from the same room. It was later discovered that someone had actually taken a dump in the room when they went in to try on clothes. We ended up fitted the room with a galvanized piece of chain and a master lock to keep the curtain open. Luckily, shortly thereafter, we got a full store overhaul that put in actual fitting rooms. My current boss was a former store manager at a Hot Topic, and he told me that he caught one of his employees stealing a shirt he had stuffed into a Sonic cup. From then on out, everyone had to check bags and beverages for merchandise. Spent almost 5 years working at one in the early 2000s. Being in the Midwest, we had a ton of jugglers, but they were actually pretty nice people in general. I had a group of kids ask what I would do if they set some clothes on fire and flicked a lighter multiple times. We mostly got weirdos who wanted to bang in the dressing room or lifted up their shirts to ask me what gauge their nipple ring is. We had this one girl who came in weekly, and I don't think she was all there. She would sit at the listening station for way too long and then leave. One day she sat down and put the headphones on. She had a plastic bag with her filled with empty glass bottles and peaches. Yes, the fruit. We noticed it was leaking onto the floor, but just let her do her thing. She put the headphones back and looked at her leaking bag. She had a mildly disappointed look on her face, but immediately looked at her watch and yelled, "I'm going to miss my bus." She ran out of the store and up to a trash can outside the store. She held the bag up high and yelled, "Peaches, meet your fate." Threw the bag in the trash and sprinted off. That job was weird. This is my time to shine. I was helping a lady at the Disney section. She was pretty particular about the things she wanted and was asking if they looked okay enough for her. Being my first job, I was really enthusiastic about being a salesperson, and I really do love Disney. So I was hyping her up the best I could, and we're laughing together, getting along really well. Then she says, "Yeah, I wanted to get all the same things my boyfriend's baby mama has. Is that weird?" Literally did not know how to respond. I said it wasn't, and cashed her out quick. My sister worked at one for a little while. One day 2 grown men were fighting over a pop. It's like a collectible figure. Like a legit fight. She said it was like the comic book guy from The Simpsons fighting another comic book guy from The Simpsons. My sister called mall security and noped the hell out of their way. Neither one of them got the pop. My sister had to put all the stuff back that they knocked over. Well, I worked at the PacSun 2 stores down, but knew the Hyde people pretty well, as they were the only ones who also smoked cigarettes. If either were out of smokes, we could get one from the other. Hung out with the manager a few times at his place to smoke out, etc. He was super into Coheed and Cambria, and we jam out to that. Had a wife and kid who were super nice, and cooked dinner for me when I was there. End up moving, and on a trip back home I stop in to see if anyone I knew was still there. Ask about manager dude and the person's face just drops. Turns out dude was in prison for F***ing-KING-14. Former Hyde store manager here. At the height of the Twilight craze, and when I was still a sales associate, we had a midnight release party for the first Movies DVD. People legitimately camped out in the mall to be at this event. Generic Twilight fans. 12 to 16-year-old girls, their mothers, and the odd sprinkling of adults that were wildly out of place. Employees were encouraged to dress up and twee merch, but me being 17 and engrossed in the suburban punk rock lifestyle, I did not participate. My SM was not pleased about this, so she MOSD marked out of stock an outfit for me. Girls size small, I boys who sparkle tee that rode up like a crop top, the tightest jeans I've ever worn, and to top it all off, she aggressively applied eyeliner, sparkly eyeshadow, and body glitter all over me. And before anyone asks or makes the whole process into something sexy, she was in her mid-40s, overweight, and generally the most unpleasant person ever. It was humiliating, but the only saving grace is that I got so many phone numbers that night. I was drowning in high school girls who thought I was amazing. Nothing ever came from it though. I've got other stories, but I'm headed into my adult job now. If I remember, L will post a few more tonight. Edit. RIP my inbox. Also, for clarity's sake, I'm a dude. I didn't work there very long, but I remember on my second day of the job a lady came in looking for something to buy her daughter. Told me she was a fan of Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, that kind of stuff. So I walked around with her for maybe an hour showing her all sorts of things she might like. This was back when Hot Topic was more music oriented in the early 2000s. We picked out a few really awesome things I thought she might like. And then the mom spotted a Marilyn Manson miniskirt. After hearing how her daughter dressed and what kind of music she listened to for upwards of an hour, I tried to tell the mom that her daughter probably wouldn't like that skirt, but she insisted and ended up getting only the skirt. It was my first retail job. Something inside me died a little that day. I worked in a Hot Topic in a small town where it was really controversial for the store to be moving in. I worked there about 6 months after it opened, and we saw a lot of older folks eyeing us, and they saw as they walked by. One time this high school girl was in buying a band tee, and as she was checking out, her grandma came in yelling something about devil worship, then proceeded to fall to the floor speaking in tongues. Security was called. I worked here seasonally in high school, around 2006, and honestly the cringiest part of the job were my coworkers constantly telling me I'm not punk rock enough. I would wear band tees and jeans, and had a nose ring. Sorry, I didn't want to shave half my head and dye it orange for a mall job. They would literally jeer at me to go work at Hollister. After calm, being a Christian mom came throwing pamphlets and yelling at the staff. She blamed us for the shooting. We were 1,000 miles away. She made one of my sales associates cry. Nothing worse than watching a fat man cry over something he had nothing to do with. I didn't work there, but one time I was there looking at the nail polish bin. Some kid poked me on the shoulder and asked me if I liked anime. I know that he worked there and was trying to sell me something. I just looked puzzled and said no. I was just like, I don't know. Supernatural, I guess. And he said, oh, I hate that show, and turned and walked straight out of the store. I worked at Hot Topic for 2 years as a manager. The worst we would get were bored stay-at-home moms with their bratty children. This one particular mom came in with her twins. They wreaked havoc in my store, pulled teas out of the baskets, makeup out of the displays, anything they could get their hands on they pulled out and left on the ground. The mom was off in her own little world. She didn't even buy anything. I was the only employee in the store that morning. Edit. I was a manager at Hot Topic like 10 years ago. I had an obese teenage girl walk up to me, irate, screaming we didn't have a shirt in her size. I can't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was something Invader Zim related, as I'm trying to explain to her that I have a box of shirts that came in earlier that morning and I might actually have the shirt she wants. She has a ref **king heart attack, like, stops mid-sentence and drops to ground right there in the store, clutching her chest. Some paramedics were eating in the food court, so they were pretty quick about it. From their response, she was not faking. Don't know what happened to her after that. Make sure to like and subscribe for more daily content. Thanks for watching.